And I'm live. That is cool. Today is 7th of December 2025, Sunday. And with that, let's just begin. My Wi-Fi was acting wonky, and that is why we are late today. My bad. And let's just see what the language for the day is. We will spin this wheel 3 times, and the language on which this wheel lands on the third time will be the language for the day. And let's go. The first spin. And would have been Rust if we did go through with this second spin, and it is C++. That also would have been cool, but I would prefer like the languages that I'm more comfortable with to come later in the stage, and the language that we are going with is Ruby. Okay, that is cool, I think. Ruby, that is Ruby. Ruby programming language. That is the language that we are going with today. Okay, crazy. Ruby. We will use ChatGPT how to compile and run a Ruby program. Let's see, it doesn't compile in the traditional C++. It is an interpreted language. Okay, it is interpreted, but you do run it through the Ruby interpreter. Okay, Ruby is the command. This is how we print hello world. Make it an executable optional. Chmod. Yo. Okay, we can make this kind of an executable, like bash is an executable. If you really want to compile, then something. Repl is something if you want experimental quickly. Okay, Ruby is interpreted, and okay, you install Ruby. Let's install the thing, and we will also need LSP for the language. Wait, no package found. There was packages found for Ruby. That is cool. Okay, so Ruby is interpreted. That is that cool to write our like thing in an interpreted language. We also write the web things in JavaScript, which is also interpreted. So yeah, if you need to have Ruby first on your path, Ruby is not on our path. Why? Because it is inside this folder. Okay, let's just echo export path equals /opt/home brew /opt/ruby /bin, and then the path variable itself. Cool. Put this into .zsh and home slash zsh and then source. And also, let's also see the compiler before sourcing this, because we might have to add some other things also into our path. Help, lsp, config, all, where is Ruby, what is axt grep, synchron, Ruby dosa, Ruby is for cookbook. Okay, let's see. Best Ruby LSP. State of Ruby LSP. What do you think? What is the Ruby? Wait, Ruby has its own LSP, an opinionated language server for Ruby. Ruby LSP. Shit, Ruby has its own LSP, so that is cool. We will find it. Herb LSP and HTML plus Ruby. Nope, nope. Is this Robocop? This is Ruby LSP. Yep, that is the one that we will go with. Shopify Wave. Yeah. This is by Shopify Ruby LSP. That is funny. Gem install Ruby LSV. So first of all, we have to install gem. Gem is something. Okay. Uh, do install gem. Ruby gem install gem. I suppose is the package manager for Ruby. And let me also change the settings. Stream settings here. Add underscore day 7. It is going to be in Ruby. Let's go. Gem update. We don't have gem. Download the latest version, unpack CD, and install with Ruby setup.rb for more details. Okay, share. Let's use Git to Git clone the thing. Ruby gems. Right. Gem install Faraday. We do not have gem installation. Ruby setup.rb installation. Ruby gem is already installed in your Ruby environment. Ruby environment, this also has an environment. Okay, you can check the version you have installed by running. We do not have a version. If you would manually install Ruby gems, download from this thing or clone this CD into, okay, let's clone this and code bases get clone this thing, and hopefully it is not too big, or it might be too big, I don't know. Then we will cd into this folder and ruby setup.rb. RB is the extension for Ruby, I suppose. And for more details, Ruby setup help, upgrade Ruby gems. Okay, so that is how we can download gem, which is the Ruby package manager, it seems like. And then using gem, we will have to install the Ruby LSP. Yeah, Ruby LSP like this. Cool. And the repo for the gem is being cloned. Mostly written in Ruby, and ROF is something. Ruby is high level, so I guess we got this. Yesterday was Lua. Lua was cool. And add-on of code, by the way, is like, of course, live. The question is there. And I hope no one has yet solved any of the questions. Yes, no one has yet solved any of the questions. I might be the first one and get the top spot in the leaderboard. What is the question? Okay, shit. Parsing, more parsing, parsing. Shit, that is more parsing. Yesterday's question was also based on parsing. Today's question is also based on parsing, and this looks like something like this is a source and stuff is being like falling from the source down. Yep. And then we have to do something about this. This is the input. Okay. And yep, there we are. CD into Ruby gems and Ruby setup.rb, and Ruby version is 2.6. Wait, why did Brew install a older version of Ruby? Huh? Latest version Mac install Ruby 3.4. Choose your installation method. Unix like operating systems using Ruby's package manager is the easiest, but we do Ruby install installers. Ruby install Brew install Ruby exactly what we did. Brew upgrade Ruby. Why did we not get? Okay, we are at version 3.4, but which Ruby is this? Which Ruby? User slash bin slash Ruby. Okay, we do not want to use that Ruby. That is no, not something that we want. Hmm. So we will have to create an alias. Shit, yes, because we did not source slash dot hrc. What is 25 into 69? That would be 70. 25 into 70, 7 to 1400. Yes, 1400, 350, 1750, 1725. I think. Correct. Okay. Ruby version, and now we do have the latest one. So Ruby setup.rb to install gem, which is being installed. And why do we need gem? We need gem to install the LSP for Ruby. We do need LSP. It is a nice thing to have LSP. Ruby LSP. Yep, this is what we would like to install. And to install the Ruby LSP, we need gem. I don't know if that is the only way, but that is one way. We do have gem. Gem install Ruby LSP. If that is the right way to write it. That does seem like the right way, and we are installing Ruby LSP. It is installed. Okay. And Ruby LSP did not was not found. What is the command? Command is this. Ruby LSP not found. Where was this thing installed? How to install this thing globally? File types Ruby and this. Okay. This thing is not able to find. Uh, Gemini, not Gemini. Um, where does Ruby gem install packages? Where does it install packages? Hello. Yep, Ruby today. Today, Gem today, Ruby on Rails developer tomorrow. Yes. Shit, I have two chats. One here and one here. Crazy. Pop out. Yes. And we can kill this one, right? If we don't need something, kill it. The natural response. Yeah. Where wait, on Mac. User slash locally slash library slash Ruby slash gems slash Ruby version slash the thing. Or in the home folder, we might have gem. We do not have dot gem in the main folder. In the main folder, we have dot gem and yeah, dot r ben. Ah, no, we don't even have this ben thing. Gem and what? To find the precise installation directory for your current Ruby environment, you can use gem environment, and while executing gem is fine. While executing gem unknown command environment, did you mean shit? Yes, my English is not good. Environment users slash Jatin Raghav slash go gem paths. Yep, gem path. Wait, the path where gem is installed, or Where are the packages installed? Get execution, Ruby execution, installation directory, where gem was installed. Shell paths, remote sources, configuration, gem paths, slash share Ruby. Okay, we just downloaded Ruby LSP. So I guess if it is here in somewhere here, find dot look for something like Ruby LSP sudo find grep Ruby LSP password, and do we have something? This is literally going to go through everything. Operation not permitted even after sudo is funny. Operation not permitted. Okay, firewall. Yep. I guess we can just look in this particular thing. Dot local homebrew. Yep. Slash users and in OPT. Find an OPT. Grep Ruby LSP. Yo, let's go. Ruby LSP is inside this folder. Executable. I think this is the one. If we do opt slash homebrew library Ruby, no, homebrew library Ruby gems 3.4 whatever gems slash Ruby LSP and executable Ruby LSP and S function it does work. It does work. It does work. Shit, this is also in Ruby. And yes, hello. Did you read something like Mein Kampf by 9? Ich habe nicht lesen Mein Kampf, aber ich musste Mein Kampf lesen. Finally, I got hands on Newham. Hands on Newham. I will start cooking. Let's go. Let's go. Make your own configuration, key maps, and stuff. Crazy. Hello. Is it stored somewhere in local share? Yeah, we found it. POSIX. Because mostly on POSIX, that is where things are generally installed. Hello. XDG. I don't know XDG standard. Just run file. Yep. File or find to check if it is a binary. Uh, okay, that is fine. So yeah, echo we have to add this path slash um path equals slash home brew slash lib slash ruby gems 3.4.0 slash gems ruby lsp 0.26.4 exit, and that should be enough. And by the way, yes, let's go. Today is also a race, like the race. Today not is not just a race. Today is the race, so it is going to be fun. A fun race. Okay, and 25 into 65. That must be 1,000, 1,300, 1,300 plus 300, 1,600, 1,850. Maybe not even close. Okay, nothing happened. Okay, huh? Is it a superior race by any shit? Bro is racist. Just use a dir env. What is dir env? But more importantly, what is this? Shit. Envim. Okay. 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 I think I messed up my life too much. Wait, I hopefully had this. This is how we do export. Export. And here we have to use this symbol. Okay. No problem. No, no, no. Yes. Now if I do source, wait, source would also not be there. Not enough. Okay. So source I think is a built-in command. That is a good thing. 435 might actually be him. Okay, correct. Knew him. Wait, pa shit. It was because of this, I think. Maybe. I don't think. I don't know. It is because of this line that our path variable is not what it should be. Wait, the questions are easier now. Knew him. Knew him not found. Save. Source. Shit, that is okay. 5,000 or 21,600 1,600 minus 53 1,530 1,550 47 1,547. You suck. Shit. Yes, I actually do suck. New game command not found. Shit, because the path variable was already messed up too much. Okay, we will start a new session. Yes, yes, yes. We got messed up too hard. Uh, 2,170. Okay, new him. Let's go. Okay, cool. And if we add this back, not slash RC 23 to 1,480, 1,480 to 110, 1,400, yeah, 80, 80 all I think. 1,690, 1,702. Hopefully. Hope, yes. Okay, and if we now do Ruby LSP, it does work. That is something nice. And now we just have to enable run.lsp dot enable Ruby LSP I, and if we go into a file dot .rb, I think LSP info and no LSP is running. There was some error with some random LSP, Ruby LSP config not found any. Okay. Okay, I guess so we have to enable a place. Yep, languages. Ruby LSP looks for a root directory for the LSP to run. I think, yes, most of the things are speculations here. No concrete evidence whatsoever. Here, okay. formatter auto, and root markers. Dot git file is also a root marker. It is this optional or both of them should be there. In case one of them would work, gonna get in it. So there is something. Um, hello.rb, if rb is the extension. LSP info, nope, it still doesn't work. What is the error? Ruby LSP config not found enable was called. Wait, who called the config? No one called the Ruby config. So why they tripping? Why new vim tripping? Hmm, hmm, hmm. Install snippet to enable language server. Cool. Why is NewVim calling for the config? I didn't tell NewVim to call the config. Why is NewVim calling the config? LSP config, config not found. Maybe I can add a empty file there. Ensure that LSP NewVim config was called. Okay, we have to ensure this thing. Okay. Um, config, but the second thing has to be the config itself. Or let's see if just this much works. It does not work. We also have to pass in the config, for which we have to make a file. Require spelling is correct, lsps dot ruby ls, let's say, and ruby lsp, let's say. And after this we have to go to lsps and make a new file, ruby lsp dot lua, and return. And we can either return an empty config or command is this file types, this init option, this. These are the default options. So yeah, I guess they would work. This empty return file should work. Hello.ruby lsp info, and let's go. Let's no, lsp is not working. Ruby lsp does not even say anything. I guess we have to add something in the config. And yes, we have not even begin to look at how the language works. Try to do today in ed editor. I guess doing in Ruby is a challenge within itself. Yep, this is Vim. More like NeoVim. NeoVim is better than Vim, like Neolithic age. These are the options which we can add. I think that is how it works. That might actually work, I guess. Okay, and now the LSP might work. There are also some updates. There was an error which I skipped. Update, hydration. No active LSPs. Ruby LSP. Okay, we have the command formatter and the options. That is cool. Wait, file types. Okay, yeah. Shit. File types Ruby. I think we should also say with file types .rb, just in case .rb. Okay, client Ruby quit with exit code 1, check error logs. Shit. LSP is not working. That is the thing right now. Ed should ed. Okay, ed is the, I think, original Unix editor. And uh, these commands, the global command, this one, global, or the whole thing, where first of all you give in the pattern, then global command, then regex, and then command like print. What do we have? Grep, grep. This is from Ed, and yes, I did a like horrible job at explaining this. Created by the man, the legend, Ken Thompson himself. Yep, to write Unix and uh, EFX. Okay, shit. You have used this term multiple times. I guess. What does this mean? Internet, as far as I know. Okay, shit. It is not a technical term, I guess. Then, yeah, to write in Unix. Yep, to write Unix in to write Unix. Okay, I don't know if he wrote the editor to write Unix, or he first created Unix and then wrote the editor on Unix. Okay, but hmm, hmm, hmm. LSP exited with error code. Yep, there we go. Local state num LSP log cd chat dot local state ls num log lsp dot log Ruby gems. What does the thing say? And yes, every line is a error here. Let's do one thing, remove dot local state num lsp dot log, right? And then go back and hello dot rb. Yep. And the only commands there now are going to be the errors. Cool. Okay. First we have this lsp logging initiated. Cool. And then this skipping logged file. There is a top level bundle. Okay. And this running bundle in installation for the composed bundle. This may take a while. Okay, no error till now. Now we do have a load error. This thing tried to load, the LSP tried to load something from here. Ruby gems dot active. There was some error with that. Cannot load such file. Lib Ruby gems executable bundle. Okay, so these two seem to be the same errors. Okay, okay, and then we had this running bundle. So it is started again, kind of, I guess, and then it tried to load the thing again. Okay, so it did do its best, but the LSP was not able to load something. Load error. Bundle load from this Ruby line 303 if we want to go into the literal file which is causing the error. Ruby slash bin bundle 25. Let's work without the LSP. There is, yeah, we can work without the LSP. Is there a command like gem in it? No. Initialize Ruby project. Maybe the error is that we do not have an initialized Ruby project, so the LSP is messing up. I cannot understand a single thing. Me too, but it is nice to see people actually code rather than use LLM. LLMs are crazy. Yes. In fact, Vim to some, and yeah, it will only take you a few months to get used to Vim, right? Yeah, it is not a big thing. In fact, Vim to some extent is very much, yes, all of the commands that we write in the command line in Vim, command line mode are by the editor. Like, and also when we see, okay, shit, so there is one trivia fact, I think. Ed was a line by line editor, right? So, line by line editor. I don't know how to explain it more because that is what I know. It was a line by line editor. And so, for a line by line editor, if you uh, try execute some command, it runs on a single line at some particular place in that line. But if you run that same command globally, global in a line by line editor context means the whole line, not the whole thing, not the whole file, but only the whole line. And therefore, also since Vim is inspired by the editor, here when we run some command globally, that does not mean the whole file. That means just the whole line. When we use substitution and we substitute something globally, that means substitute on the whole line, not on the whole file. So that is cool. It's like Vim but harder because primitive. Can you in brief explain in 30 seconds what you're doing? Okay, so the whole thing is there is a thing called Advent of Code, this website, and each year, starting from 1st December, there are questions on this website. So on 1st December, there was this question which became available on the website. You can go read the question, and there are two parts to each question. You have to read the question. You also have your input, your puzzle input. You have to read this, and according to the things said here in the problem, you have to arrive at a particular number, the answer for the question. You submit that answer into the dialog box provided to you, and then the part 2 of the question becomes available, and then you solve it and you give the answer for the part 2. So that is it. And today is 7th of December, so today we have question number 7, right? Here is the question, and after solving the question, there is also this input on which I have to solve the question, and after solving the question I have to give in the answer here, and when I do that, part 2 of the question will become available, and then we can solve part 2 and given the answer for part 2. So that is the whole concept of Advent of Code. But there is a twist. This thing, I have a language spinner, so each day I am solving Advent of Code in a different language, and today the thing landed on Ruby, so we are solving this in Ruby today. And my bad, this was more than 30 seconds. And yes, we are right now, we what we are doing is Ruby's interpreted, right? So we have the Ruby interpreter installed, that is working. But the problem right now is Ruby LSP, the thing that gives suggestions in a language, is not working. Like hello.cpp, if we have int main, this thing, the program which is giving me all of these suggestions, that is what we are trying to set up for Ruby, because Ruby I have no idea about. So having a LSP would be a good thing, I think. And yes, how to initialize. And I think the LSP is also installed, but it is not working somehow. It is giving error somehow. Punishment. Yes, on 5th of December we landed on OCaml and it was like, yeah, difficult. People usually try to solve each day in different languages. Huh, shit. I saw low level programming, low level programmer Ed. Shit, his name is also Ed. Low level. How do? Yes, low level. His name is Ed. Yeah. He also did Advent of Code in different languages. And look at this. He also has a spinner. Like, not that he also has. I copied the idea from him. So yes, he's the original man, the Adam. This helps people get used to thinking in other languages and learn various kind of skills too. Yep, because each language comes with its own quirks, way to do same things, etc. Yep, I was inspired by T.S. Oding. He did first day in Ada and so on. Shit, he's also doing it. That is cool. OCaml is good, I guess. Have to use law. HFTs. Jane Street. Okay. We are getting some error, and I think the LSP is giving error because we are not initializing a Ruby project. Um, Initialize Ruby project. How do I set up a Ruby project? CD touch myscript.rb. Where is that it? Gem install bundler. Okay, shit, we do not have the bundler. That is also the error the LSP was giving. Shit. Installed now. Okay, maybe. Hello.rb. Okay. Shit. Okay. LSP is not working. The LSP is not working. Why? Even though we are in a Ruby file, why is the LSP start Ruby LSP? Okay. Uh, LSP info. Let's go. And why is the LSP not working like by itself in LSP? Ruby LSP. LSP is running, but we are not getting any suggestions. Settings, nothing. Command is this, and root directory is nil. So I guess that is why we are not getting any suggestions. If I were to, okay, that is good. We are getting errors. Let's go. And wait, what? Okay, so LSP is now working. LSP is now working. We can actually go to like see how Ruby works. That too, because it has a lot of mathematics and OCaml, just like Haskell, in majority used in academia. Yo, bro is too happy. Order code, coder order. Shit, I guess you don't take a bath. That's why you need order. I don't know. Okay. Puts hello world, and now this should work. Hell no. Let's go. And cool. That is cool. Now we can add a key map, which will run this file so that we don't have to exit Vim and execute the file again and again. Ruby, Ruby, and sure, you are there, and Ruby and hello.rb, and if I now do space Ruby, hello there, it does work. Okay, now we do know how to print something on the screen. Our LSP is also working. We can compile and not compile. We can interpret a Ruby program. Let's see how to define variables. And yeah, ChatGPT for learning is pretty cool. Personally, I feel like no matter how fast the language is, but the functional language will always be slower than imperative languages since CPU processes data in imperative manner. So there will always be that. So shit, they have hardware advantage built different. We overhead of turning functional into imperative. Okay, I have to um, redefine my or refine my understanding of imperative. Imperative. Very important or it's urgent shit. Imperative programming. And yes, we are getting a little bit off topic, but that is fine. In computer science, imperative programming is a programming paradigm of software that uses statements that change a process's state in much the same way the imperative move okay, mood, not mood. The imperative mood in natural languages express commands. Wait, what does it mean to change processes state? That is not the thing for today. It is like advent of code. We have to do advent of code. Someone else will do it before me in the group, and that will I will be sad. I will like cry. So let's do this. Right. This is how we assign variables. Cool, Alice, Bob, Pi. Right. We have float, we have integer, we have a string. Ruby figures out so like Python if true, x equals this, and end instance. We won't be using any object oriented thing. Class variables at class, initialize the constructor, I suppose. Def, great. Method on the class person object, internal class variables, global variables with the percentage, but here we are using a at the rate symbol. Constants. Okay, if the starting they look like variables, but if the starting letter is capital, then it is constant. We cannot change their name later. Multi-assignment, that is cool. That is actually cool. We can break up a list like this and get the variables. That is cool. And shared. That is cool. That is cool. Special variables like this. If you want, I can explain. Okay. So cool. We kind of know how to write variables in Ruby. Let's see. What are the type of variables in Ruby or like data types? 5 main categories, each define its own name where it lives. Local. Shit, I asked the wrong question. Different types. What are the different types of data type? That is a strange statement in Ruby. Let's see. Ruby keeps its in data types lean but expressive. Think of them as building blocks rather than interpreter modes on the fly. We have integer, we have float, we have rational, we have complex numbers. We don't need rational or complex numbers. We might need float. We have a string, multi sequence of characters, and bear in mind we don't seem to have characters. We have a string, sequences of characters. Under the hood, a byte buffer plus encoding by default. Okay, we have symbols, immutable, internal, we don't need them. Boolean, that is cool. Nil, okay, a boolean means 2, has 3 possible values. Funny. We have nil. We have arrays where the types could be different. We have hash maps, that is cool, like dictionaries. We have ranges with dot dot shared, that is cool. We have inclusive and we have exclusive expression of ranges. This one is 1 to 5, this one is 1 to 4. We have regular expressions, arrays, cool. Class and modules, yeah, classes. We have lambda functions, we have file types. Let's open a file and read the file contents and work with them. File dot open, file name would be and dot slash hello.rb, this file itself, and let's say file dot read. Okay, read lines. How do we read line? Guess receiver reads a line as with IO gets but raises error if already at the end, reads and returns all remaining line, not lines from the string but does not modify. Let's use let's say data and puts data and let's go. We have the file. Let's go. Okay, cool. That is cool. That is working. We can read data from a file. We can initialize variables. We need to see how to write loops. Let's do one thing. Yeah, can we have a for I equals for I in 1005 end assigned but not used puts I. Let's go. Should that actually is working? Okay. How to format a string in Ruby? Let's see. Okay, at least open docs for learning about basic data types. Learn to use docs. You can ask GPT relatively complex problems. Learn to use docs. That is a nice thing to do. Because if you are asked to work with languages like these, you only have the docs. Yes, and then I will use docs. Part one done? Nope. I tried brute force, but the counting part is not right. Uh, That is how we format a string. Okay, I'm just learning the language. I have not even read the question. My bad. Number is hash shade. Look at this. Uh, this is done by Ghosty. Ghosty is combining the hashtag and the opening curly bracket in some strange way. That is funny. Ruby, yep, the number is this. Cool. Cool, we can run a loop. Let's see how to, we can even write an array. Can we print an array? Array equals this. Can we do array dot insert? Array is not an object, it seems. Okay, shit, that is uh working. Yep. This whole thing is the first puts where we are putting the data forward, and this thing, this second thing till the end is at the top we have this number one, which is the first element in this array, and then we are printing data. So that is cool, and then the loop is running. This loop. Cool. Now we need to see how to insert elements in a array in Ruby. My array dot push. Okay, so array dot push I, and let puts array later, and we yeah, puts air. Yeah, cool. It is working. Wait, it is not. This is working. This is working. Yes. The only thing that we are printing is the array, and the first element is one, then the data. First element is one, then we have the data in this whole section, and then the rest of the elements which we added later. Cool. We even have dictionaries. Uh, Key, well, assigned but never used. Dick, yes, Dick. Let's add, remove the array. Remove the data. Dick bracket I equals I. If that is correct. Shit. Key has value 1, 1 has value 1, 2 has value 2. Okay, cool. So that is also working. We know how to create arrays, how to add elements to arrays, how to add elements to or key value pairs to maps, and then we can move forward with the actual question. Like the dinyl output is exactly like the example, but the count is wrong. Shit, let me read the question and then it will make more sense. Before reading the question, I have to go to the washroom. Just 1 minute. Now I'll be right back. 1 minute. And I'm back. You have some idea about how Ruby works? Now on to the actual question. Okay, you thank the cephalopods for the help and exit the trash compactor, finding yourself in the familiar halls of the North Pole Research Wing. Based on the large sign that says Teleporter Hub, they seem to be researching teleportation. You cannot help but try for yourself and step onto the large yellow teleporter pad. Okay, suddenly you find yourself in an unfamiliar room. The room has no doors. The only way out is the teleporter. Unfortunately, the teleporter seems to be leaking magic smoke. Since this is a teleporter lab, there are lots of spare parts, manuals, and diagnostic equipment lying around. After connecting one of the diagnostic tools, it helpfully displays error code OHNO, which apparently means that there is an issue with one of the. Okay, my physics is not that advanced. Manifolds and Tachyon Tachyon manifold. You quickly locate a diagram of the Tachyon manifold, your puzzle input. This is the manifold, okay. A Tachyon beam enters the manifold at the location marked as S source. Tachyon beams always move downwards. Tachyon, I don't know if the pronunciation is correct, but Tachyon beams pass freely through empty spaces. Dots are empty spaces. However, if a Tachyon beam encounters a splitter like this, the beam is stopped. Instead, a new Tachyon beam continues from immediately left and from immediate right. Okay, in this example, the incoming Tachyon beam starts from S extending downwards, and here it encounters a splitter, so it would initialize two Tachyon beams here and here, and there are two more splitters, so we'll have three beams here, here, and here. Then we will have four beams here, 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 on top of this one here, and one beam will just keep going till the end. That is cool. And this beam will encounter this and will go till here. Okay, and then we'll have one beam. Okay, At this point, the original beam splits and goes down till they reach more splitters. At this point, the splitter create a total of only three tachyon beams since they are both dumping tachyons into the same place between them. And yep. This process continues till all the tachyon beams reach the splitter and exit the manifold. To repair the teleporter, you first need to understand the beam splitting properties of the tachyon manifold. In this example, a tachyon beam is split a total of 21 times. 21 times. Uh, okay, one split was there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. Analyze your manifold. How many times is the beam split? Kind of like dynamic programming. Okay, mine work now and a small debug was shaped. I guess you are at the top now, if that is not inappropriate to say. Yep, shit. 70 points. That is too much power. Okay, we have this. First of all, we will convert this into a array of strings. Yep, and let's move forward from there. And cool. AOC, CD, day 07, uh, and text.txt, the input is this whole thing, behemoth of an input. Okay, we have that working. Part1 dot p dot rb ruby and the lsp. Let's see, info. LSP is running by itself. That is a nice thing. Part1 dot rb and let's read file equals file dot open. Okay, LSP is not kind of working. Wait, LSP is working, but it is also not working. Okay, it is working. The lines. Okay, we have the data. Let's put data error. File dot open. Did you mean file? Yes, I did mean file. Cool. Okay. We are able to read the thing. How to trim a string in Ruby. How to trim a string in Ruby on strip dot strip dot strip undefined method strip. Huh. My string is wait, so is this thing not a string? I think what we are getting from read lines is not a string. Reads and returns all remaining lines. Array, is it returning them as an array? Okay, it is returning them as an array of lines. Okay, that is good enough. Ah, can I get the whole thing as a string? That would be preferable. Dot. Shit, I cannot see the. Okay, I can see. display puts where there are some strange symbols, or we can just search how to get the whole file as a string in Ruby. And also, I wonder what the second part would be. Yes, what the second part would be. Second part would be crazy. Read puts file con. Wait, just file dot read. Okay, that was kind of stupid. Don't open the file, just read the damn thing. And I see, yep, strip. We can strip, that is cool. How to split a string, not in OCaml, but in Ruby. How can we split? Using the split method on the thing. Fruits is split, split, split. Okay. And data equals data dot split on new lines. Let's go. We are able to split the data, and let's see dot size, uh length, members, one returns the member names from set, just for scientific purposes. Didn't member, did you mean member, member, without the parentheses? Did you mean member? That is exactly what is written there. Did you mean member? Yeah. Okay. We have the data as a list of strings, as a array of strings. That is good. How to get size of a list in Ruby, or array dot length puts size is hash brackets data dot length. Ruby size is 1, which is not the right thing. How can the size like even be equal to 1? Data dot length does not work, because like we are splitting the data and then we are getting the size. Are we not splitting the string? uh let's wait. How do we data bracket 0? Okay, that is not right. In this thing, this is a list, but the only thing we have is the whole string. Okay, now we go. There we go. Length and 142 lines in total. Can you guess? Hint path. Path lemma member. What is the current progress? Current progress is we know the question and we have parsed the whole thing as a array of strings, and now we have to actually move on to solving the question. And there is a hint. Yo, what is the membership? 40. Yes, membership is what it says. Don't buy. That is why it is 40. Don't buy is like a joke. Hmm. It is the like highest money membership. Yeah, we have to count the number of path the array can travel. The number of path the array can travel. the array goes here, and if at the end we see the array, yeah, we have to go through. I think we can just like we can skip this whole thing, and we can just store the position of these things, of these splitters, and yeah, we can skip these. We can have the position of these splitters, right, in like a pair, and we will have a list of all the lines or all the x coordinates. Yes, let's say uh, horizontally is the x coordinate. So we can have a list of all the x coordinates that the line is currently at, and then we will see, we will go y coordinate by y coordinate, right? Initially we will be at this y coordinate, and we will see all of the splitters that are at that particular y coordinate, and here there are no splitters. Here also there are no splitters. Here also, here there is a splitter, and we will see the places where the line is going through. That would be like n square time complexity, right? Because for each splitter we will, no, for, we have two sets. We have a set of all the x coordinates where a splitter is present, and we have a list of all the x coordinates where we have a line. So we can store the position of these things as a map, I think, or in a set. If there are sets in Ruby, then we can just check that the place where I have a line, is there a splitter at that place? And if there is, then I will remove the current line and then add two different lines. Right, that would work. That would work. I mean, I'm thinking in terms of C++, and it would work in C++. But instead of splitting it in two, only going either left or right, like if the array has to split, then it moves only to left. No split to right. Or wait, it only goes one direction. Huh. Wait, my understanding is, let's say when I'm at this particular row, I will have a list of my beams where the beams are, and I will check for, like, I will have a beam at this x coordinate, and I will see if there is a splitter at that position, and there is a splitter, so I will remove that x coordinate, and I will increment the answer by 1 because there is a splitter here, and I will add this and this x coordinate to my answer, and I will see for the second beam that there is there a splitter, there is a splitter, and I will add this and this coordinate, and you might say that this thing was added twice, but maybe since we are storing in a set, we won't see the same thing twice, hopefully. Let's see, let's see. I mean, this would work perfectly smoothly in C++. How to make a set in Ruby? If we can make a set, we can make a set. There is a class set. Cool. We can make a set. Yes, yes, that is cool. That is cool. That is cool. Puts my set. Set, set. Require set. We'll have to require a set. Require a set, and after getting the data, let's fill the set. We need two sets. We need two sets. One set for the splitters where we will store those sets in a list where the, yeah, for different indices or numbers of x, let's say. we can start our x coordinates from the top, starting from 0. So this thing would have a set of splitters where each element in the set would be the x coordinate where there is a splitter. So for this one, the set would be empty. For this one also, the set would be empty. For this one, we will have this number, which would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. So this set at position 2, because 0, 1, 2 will have a singular number, that would be 7. And let's go with that. Splitters is empty, and splitters is empty for I in, can we make a range? For I in 1, 0, dot 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 data dot length, and then end. Cool. Okay. We are at a particular line. Now we want to go through all the characters. And before that, splitters dot push set, a new set. How to make a set? Set dot new and empty. Empty set. Okay. And for j in 0, data bracket I dot length. And why is this like 2 spaces of indentation? That is funny. Okay. And if we have data I j equal to a splitter, then we do something, and that thing would be splitters bracket I. How do we add an element to the set? I think insert, push, converting set to array, to array to set. How to add elements to a set in Ruby, add, remove, and all the CRUD operations. Add using this. We have this thing, C++ thing. Shit, let's use this. This looks more cool. So splitters, I add to this splitter J. Let's go. There are some points of failure. If this is not the right way to get the length of a string, that would be wrong. Otherwise, this seems cool. Can we put splitters? We can. 70 is right. Actually, 70 might actually be right. This first splitter is at position 70. That is something. And then at 69 and at 71 here. Cool. That is working. Are you talking about part 1? Yes, I am still at part 1. Like if the ray has to, okay, was from before. Yep, part 1. And 82 is a year. Okay, we have positions of the splitters. That is cool. We have positions of the splitters. Let's also have, can we take it as given that the S would be in the first row, let's say. Yeah, let's take it as given. So source equals 0, and for I in 0 to data 0 dot length, if data 0 I equals S. If equals S. Okay, if this thing equals S, then source equals I and break and end and end. But never used. Okay, let's source assigned but not used. Okay, so the spelling here is wrong. 70. That is amazing. 70 is amazing. 70 is cool. Okay, here Ruby LSB, let's remove the formatter. Formatter is bad. Yeah, this has like formatter is still bad. Okay, so that is nice. This would be a set actually, and beans equals set dot new and like nothing, and then beans takes in I. Hmm, not beans. Cool, 70. Cool, and now we can just move forward. Yep. Response equals 0 initially, at the end puts answer is hash this response, and for I, yes, let's say I 0 2 splitters dot length splitters dot length, and then I in this thing. And right, we need to see if there are elements in a set. Yep. Membership in a set in Ruby. Yes, that is something. No, it is Kohli's favorite in shared. Okay. Include question mark. True, false, true, false, true, false. Okay. And also how to iterate over a set in Ruby. How to maybe we can just use the in operator. Set. Okay, set dot each do get the element here and print the element. Do this. I think that is inline function. No, that is not lambda function. We have to do this. No, we have to do this. Okay. Okay. So we for each row we need two different sets, or maybe list. Yes, list. For each row we will have two lists. One list would be the list of the elements that we need to remove from our. That is the only list that we need. Yes, that is the only list that we need. And yes, before moving forward, let's do a experiment. Hello.rb, okay, require set and my set equals set dot new, create a new set with elements 1, 2, 3, 4, and then my set dot ins uh, add into my set 3, and do we see 3 twice? That is very funny. Shit. Okay. Now the question is, will we see 3 twice? We should not see 3 twice. That is the whole definition of a set. But just in case, yes, we do not see 3 twice. That is what we want. Hello.rb, part1.ruby. Really do not like the formatting. 2 spaces. Okay. So we are at a particular line, let's say, and let's see if how to get a size of a set. How to get size of a set in Ruby? We get set dot size. Okay, if splitters I dot size greater than 0, then do something and then end, like end, kill yourself type of thing. Okay, if there are elements in the, if there are splitters in the current row going from top to bottom, then let's create a new set called delete set dot new, initially empty, right? And we'll go through each element in the beam set. We will go beam by beam. Yeah, we'll go beam by beam. So beam is in beams dot each do let's call it beam and then end. I think that is the right syntax, right? If we'll check if splitters I dot contain dot includes uh, dot includes, if this current splitter includes something at this beam location, mismatch indentation. Okay, this thing is indentation defined. That is cool. Not cool. Then insert into delete, that we have to remove this beam. Yeah, we will have to remove this beam, and yep, we will have to remove this beam, and here we have to go forward and remove and add things, remove and add beams, remove and add beams. Is the time complexity would also be not that bad. Okay, now what we want is beams dot each, not beam, for del dot each do delete, uh, then end. What do? We remove an element. How do we remove an element from a set? From a set in Ruby, pop delete. Okay, my set dot delete beams dot delete d, but not beams, and but insert at the same time to this beam d plus 1. And I think we should split these two parts. these two parts. And yeah, we should go through the beams that we have to delete. And first we will delete all the beams from the beams, and after that we will insert the new beams after deleting the old beams. Yep, that makes sense. Because we might delete by mistake a beam which should exist. That is a problem. That could be a problem. And are we ever hitting the edge? We are hitting an edge, but after that it is cool. It is cool. Okay. And for each splitter that we encounter, we will do res plus plus, no, res plus equals 1. Okay, that is a thing. Thing. Now the moment of truth. Now the moment of truth. This should work, or it might not. Okay, how to check if an element is a membership in a set in Ruby? Include, not includes. 1646. Let's run this on the test case. Right. Right, and here we'll start, maybe we can just use the macro which we used yesterday, I think, maybe. Let's go. Answer turns out to be 21, which is the correct answer. Let's go. Let's go. So yeah, we can trust our program to work, and we can submit 1646. Hopefully 1646. Okay, 1646. Okay, let's see. Water. Okay, let's see. That is the correct answer. Let's go. Move on to part two. Moving on to part two. That was correct. Cool. Hey, what is part two? And yes, the leaderboard. The leaderboard. Leaderboard. Shit. Okay, I'm right behind you. Okay. With your analysis of the manifold complete, you begin fixing the teleporter. However, as you open the side of the teleporter to replace the broken manifold, you are surprised to discover that it isn't a classical Tachyon manifold. It is a quantum Tachyon manifold. Superposition. With the quantum Tachyon manifold, only a single Tachyon particle is sent through the manifold. Tachyon particle takes both the left and right paths after each splitting encounters. Since this is impossible, the manual recommends the Manifold's interpretation of quantum taking splitting. Each time a particle splits, it is actually a time itself which splits. We get multiple universes. In a timeline, the particle went left, and in the other, the particle went right. To fix the manifold, what you really need to know is the number of timelines active after a single particle completes all of its possible journeys through the manifold. In the above example, there are many times. For instance, there is the timeline where the particle always went left, or there is the timeline like this, or there is a timeline where the particle ends up at the same point as the alternate timeline but takes a totally different route to get there. In this example, in the total, the particle ends up on 40 different timelines, on 40 different, in this example the particle ends up on 40 different timelines. Apply the manifold many worlds interpretation of quantum Tachyian splitting to your manifold diagram. In total, how many different timelines would a single Tachyian particle end up on? Okay, whenever we are getting some, initially we had a single timeline, then we encountered something and we got two timelines, so the number of timelines multiplied by 2. Then we saw this, that created two, one more timeline, and then this created one more timeline. No, no. Okay, yes. Therefore, we will have 4 timelines when we are here, right? 4 timelines, right? 4 different timelines. Shit makes sense. Okay, okay. Uh, okay, what we have to do is just replace our set with an array. That would work, and we would be happy. Far2 dot rb. This beans, this can be a set now. This can be an array now. Or is there a thing such as multi-set? Also, delete would not be a set anymore. This would also be a array. And with this, we can simply insert. Uh, Del dot push I. No, B. And here we'll have to change how we are traversing. But is using an array a nice thing, because we rapidly want to add and remove new things? Or what we can also do is we can create a new array at each line that we are going through. I think that would be better because we are like already creating a delete array, right? New array, and whenever we see that the last splitter on it, okay, we also have to change the way that we are going through this. Can you use the same syntax? New array, and we can skip this part and we can just say that our um, beans equals new beans, let's say new beans instead of new array. Right, answer is 1. Funny. New beans equals, answer is 1. Fun. Hmm. I think we are not going through the array in the right manner. So for x in 0 till beams dot length, do something and then end. And the thing to do is this. And instead of beam, beams x here also. Beams x and answer turns out to be 1 somehow. So, like, let's put beams. Okay, 70. Splitters dot length. All of that is cool. Okay, splitters is an array that is nice. Put splitters. Splitters is fine. And beams is maybe this is not the right thing to do. Beams dot push I 70 is nice, but new beams dot push beams x. New beams is also shit. Makes sense. Makes sense. New beams dot push beams plus one and new dot push. Yes, and the response would also be initially equal to 1. Okay. Okay, shit. Time complexity seems to be very bad in this. Yes, time complexity does is actually very bad. Puts I. Wait, why is I increasing by 2? Makes sense. Shit. Yes, that is fine. That is fine. I think this is taking time because of obvious reasons that we are using a lot of memory. Part 2 done. Shit. Okay. Wait. I'll also do. I'm also almost there. Okay, 15 time. Let's go. Answer turns out to 37. Okay, that is wrong. That is like clearly wrong. 37 is wrong. Yes, it is. Array on a single line in Ruby is being printed on multiple lines. Okay, my array dot join with this. Yeah. Cool. So yes, it became 8 and 6. This thing did. Okay. This became 8 and 6. So we had one timeline here, one timeline here. That is cool. Then this thing became 9, 9 here, 7, 6, 5. That is good. How did it reduce? It makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Else new beams dot puts beams and 40. Let's go. Let's go. The time complexity, by the way, is very bad. Let's first get the answer and then we will fix the time complexity. This is going to take time because we are creating a lot of arrays. We are creating a lot of arrays. Yo, bro understands quantum mechanics quite well. We are creating a lot of arrays. Do we have a multiset in Ruby? Do we have a multiset in implementation? We do have a multiset. That is good. Actually, multiset we have 3 times. We do have a multiset. My multiset. Require multiset. Okay, we can use a multiset. We will let the program on the right run. We have a multiset. How to use how to move a array in Ruby. Like we do not want to copy, we want to move. How to change position of an element in a class array. ChatGPT. When I have an array in Ruby, um, equals some elements, something something. 2 equals is the first array being copied or is it being moved to the wait are these two variables pointing to the same array in the heap. Oh shit, it is still going on. Still running on. Okay, long answer because you like the in Ruby variables don't contain objects, they behave like labels. Yes, are they pointing to the same thing? No. No copy, no clone, no magic. Another reference to the same underlying object. So that is good. A child seeing this for the first time would say, wait, no, if I change the toys and one was prove by mutation. Try this. We have array 2 p. Okay, okay. So that is not the problem here. Having big arrays, like this part is not the problem. Therefore, we have to use dynamic programming. Ruby seems to be slow because it is, like, of course, interpreted. No, we cannot use dynamic programming because things do not depend on each other. We can actually use a multiset. Can we use a multiset? We have to keep track. Okay, okay. Yes, we will use a map. We will use a map here. We'll use a map here because this is stupid. Yep, we will use a map here. Yes, because this is stupid. This is stupid. Yes, new beams will be a map, empty map, and we don't need this here. Beams would also be a map, and this map would say beams bracket at location I. We have one thing. We have one beam at location I. And now we have to see how to iterate through a beam. How to iterate not through a beam, how to over a hash map in Ruby. I think hash map would be faster. Using each do is this. Okay. For no, no, beans dot each do key value, and then end at the end if splitters, if there is a splitter uh, at this key, if there is a splitter at this particular key, then new beans if how to check if a key how to check if a key uh, exists in map in Ruby. And shit, you are at the top. My bad. TV the boards. You are at the top right now. Oh, I'm right. Shit, I'm not right behind you. Okay, okay. I'll be there. Dot key. Okay. Dot has key. Oh yeah. Key and has key. Why are they different? Key or has key. Okay, key. So if new beams dot key dot key with parentheses, if new beams has already has this key, yep, then if it already has the key, then new beams key plus equals 1, increase the value by 1, else new beams key equals 1. New beams name, I don't like the name. Substitute new beams with delete del. Okay, beams is ready, new beams is ready, we can remove all of this. And delete is ready, we know all the things that we must delete. Then we will go through delete del dot each del dot each do get the key and the value, both are required, and at the end the thing. Okay, right. And no, there's no if or stuff like that. We'll do not splitters but beams. We have to make change in the beams. Yes, beams key at this key, reduce the value by this value, and beams key plus 1 plus equals value beams key minus 1 plus equals value. And hopefully we are like shit, we are not even changing the response. If it splitters, don't do, do not do this. Yes, do not just add 1. Wait, yes, this is stupid shit. Yes, we don't even have to check this. Yes, this is actually kind of stupid. Rest plus equals value and del key equal rest key equals value. Rest key equals value. 0, and the phone is going to die. Just 1 minute. Cool. Phone should be now charging, which it is not. Yeah, it will come around. Cool. It is not charging. How you solving? Okay, instead of like till now, what I was doing was I had a list, a set of all the indices where I had a beam, but since we have to keep track of how many beams there are, I first tried to use an array, but that array was becoming too big. Like, yes. So now I'm using a hash map where at some particular index, if I have like 3 beams, that would be the value for 3 in that map. DP shit, bro, and guns blazing. Delete a key. We can actually delete this whole key. Uh, Kernel cannot load multiset. We don't even need multiset. Key plus equals value. Undefined method plus equal on line 34. This thing. Do not do this. Yes. We can delete. Can we delete? We can delete. We can delete. Yes, deleting is okay, but okay. We have to check if beings dot key add key plus one. If the key already exists, then add the value else being key plus one equals value, and do the same thing. Substitute substitute plus with minus. Answer is in negative. Exactly what we wanted. This thing is the answer for this. Let's test for the test case that has been gracefully given to us. 40. So the test case is working fine, and hopefully this thing is also like correct. Hopefully, hopefully this thing is correct. Hopefully. That is the right answer. Let's go. Let's go. Leaderboard. Let's go. Did this. Hello. Hello. Let's go. Okay. 1676. Yes, I have to catch up with you. I have to catch up with you. Okay, my strategy for catching up is I still haven't gotten C++. And the thing that is limiting my speed is the fact that I'm using a different language. So, and now the questions are going to become more difficult, and you would also take more time. And at some point, I will get C++. I think in that case, I might be able to beat you, but that would just give me lead in a single question. I think you have done almost all the questions before me, and like for all the questions till now. But yes, there is also the fact that I haven't done this question, but that does not matter. Yes. When you're doing day five afterwards, after 12th of December, because OCaml is going to take time. I will have to do day 5 in OCaml, and OCaml is not easy. So I will do a couple of streams, 3 to 4 streams maybe, on OCaml, and then I will do day 5 in OCaml, if that makes sense. But also there are like college exams. Get a status 07. Yo, look at that. That is actually a Ruby. And day 7, get the day 7 and Ruby. Let's go. Get push origin 2025. line of code, and let's go. The number of languages keeps increasing. There will also be, yeah, there will be by the end of this, yep, by there will be 12 languages here. That is gonna be cool. But I guess companies do not like that is not the thing that they're looking for. But okay, that is cool. Ruby done. Now the among the languages that I have not written any line in is Swift and Zig. That is cool. That is cool. And that would be the end of today's stream. That will be the end of today's stream, and thank you for being here. Bye.